Today we're going to talk about a topic in generator maintenance and service that's often an issue but very rarely discussed and frankly very rarely addressed. We're here at a residential installation. This could be a hospital, this could be a generator at a restaurant, doesn't matter the application. The point being is that this is a mildly, I'll say, unmaintained property. There's some weeds growing, there's some signs of rodent intrusion in the area, and we're going to talk about one of the things that generator mechanics hate doing probably the most, which is dealing with either addressing the customer or the actual infestation itself. And another issue is rust, very common with generators. Now in this case, the roof line of this house does not drip down onto the generator, but we see that a lot. It is, however, a north-facing application. You can see that the generator is regularly wet because it's turning green. This is an older installation, about 5-6 years old, so it's a little worse for wear, but it functions properly and could be cleaned up aesthetically. However, we're going to be dealing with the issue of the rodent infestation and rust. Now, we have a product that does not require you to be certified as a pest control or insecticide licensed professional. What this product allows you to do is to actually treat the metal products as a rust proof, and then one of the side effects of this particular product and its perfume contained in it is that it actually repels rodents. And we found this sort of accidentally. This product, there's two, and I'll get into the differences between the two. This product is manufactured by a company called ProFleetCare. This is an over-the-road truck, bus type of application, primarily. Last 38 years they've been applying this up in Canada, where they know a thing or two about rust control and rust proofing. They're just starting to sell franchises down in the States for folks to do application of vehicle rust proofing with these two products in a drum bulk type of manner. This aerosolized product is used for just handy applications where you just need a little touch up here and there. And the generator application, as well as air conditioning, pool equipment, any outdoor metal enclosure could benefit from the rust proofing capabilities of these products, as well as the added benefit of rodent, I'll say, repellent. So there's two products here you noticed on the lid of this generator. There's one that's number 50 and one that's number 40. That's just the weight of the oil, essentially, in these cans. So for a generator, when we go to do a rust proofing of a generator, and we have that benefit of keeping the rodents out, we're going to go ahead and use the 40 on the inside. This is a thinner, lighter oil. It's probably not as appropriate for outdoors because it may wash away a little more easily than the 50. So if we have a recurring rodent infestation issue or a recurring wet area that is got a lot of rust that's beginning to form, or you've replaced a generator that was rusted out and you want to keep the next one from rusting out, you're going to go ahead and use the 50 on the outside perimeter of the generator. And on the inside perimeter of the generator, we're going to use the 40. A few precautions before I get started. You'll notice I'm wearing protective glasses. I'm wearing nitrile gloves, and I am going to put on a mask, which there's plenty of these left around since the last couple of years, right? And that's because there's a fume that's released with this, and I want to be as safe as possible in instructing y'all. And we're going to go ahead in this application. I'm not going to do anything with the 50. There's no real external rust issue here to address. So in this case, we're going to use the 40 for the inside of the generator. And the reason for this is, while this isn't a heavy rust, it is a kind of a wet area on the north side of the house. We are going to be concerned with ongoing maintenance of this generator because they obviously have a rodent issue at this house. And so I want to go ahead and use this for, obviously, rust prevention. But moreover, I'm concerned about mice getting into this unit. I don't see any signs of it, just at a quick blush. Remember always, you're going to turn off the controller before you do any service on a generator. So we're switched to the off position. And in the case of the Generac, the door removes on these residential units. And what we're going to do is, I've already pre-shook these but we're gonna go ahead and shake the can for about a good 30 seconds or so. There's only a ball in the 50. The 40 does not have a ball, so don't be concerned if you don't hear that rattle that we're all used to when shaking something aerosolized. Okay, and there is a straw that's attached, and we're just gonna go ahead and spray around the inner perimeter of the generator, and this is gonna form a barrier that repels water, and as it turns out, the perfume is something that the rodents do not like. So we're going to go ahead and spray that down. Again, we're in the off position so that this thing doesn't start on us. It is a flammable, like a WD-40 or things that we would use to wipe down the interior. So, you know, want to be careful with it. You can get it on the regulator. You can get it on wires. Certainly, I'm almost encouraged to put it on wires because, again, the mice will try to shave their teeth down by chewing the wires. So we're going to go ahead and spray this on to the common wires that we see that are messed with in these, which is right here in the front, and of course down at the battery area. I'm going to pop the cap on the positive terminal. I'm going to spray that. You can use it just like a battery spray to prevent the corrosion. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and spray around the outside, and we're going to come in the inside here, spray this down, and basically get the entire inner perimeter good and soaked. And I'm going to hit this wire loom right here, which is another common area. Mice will come in through underneath the controller, and they'll come down that area right there. You can go as far as taking the intake when you're doing other maintenance. You can go as far as taking that and go ahead and hitting that. It is safe on electronics. I'm going to spray it on the loom, and I'm going to hit the back wall. As we've all seen infestations just about everywhere inside of a generator. But as long as you get that inner perimeter all the way around, you should be good. I went a little bit overboard in this case, and this is a thinner oil. It'll last for months, if not years, if the inside of this doesn't get wet. Now on a water-cooled generator, you know, if you do a block heater change or a radiator change or a water pump change, and you're flooding the whole thing with coolant, you're going to have to go back and respray this once everything is dried up. Oh, one other thing is on the inside lip of the doors, I also spray it in because water does settle in there, and this is going to repel it. This is going to push essentially the water away, almost like a Rain-X that we used to put on our windshield back in the day. This is going to essentially repel the water away from the metal. It's going to treat the metal, and it is a mineral oil based product, so it's going to soak in to any opening. So there's a great example right here on the edge. If you can look real close here, you see that this flange is starting to flake off its paint, and rust is starting here. Pretty soon this will all be rusted. You've all come up to these before where this is all rotted out and sometimes has to be replaced. I'm just going to shoot that all the way around. Now this is another surface where they can get in as well. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot that surface. Flip it all the way around. And this is the sealing surface of the door. And you can wipe it down a little bit so it doesn't drip and get unsightly for the customer as well there. But you want to make sure you got a good coating on the inside. The other area that I like to tell people to do is this area right here, at least on this Generac air-cooled model, because this is almost like a tray of poop in some of the applications that we see when we get to them. So go ahead and spray the tray of poop. Obviously, I like to keep it off the exhaust, but it will be okay if it hits the exhaust. Again, you just can't have the unit running. And we're going to go ahead and put this back in auto, and we're basically done. I recommend doing this at the end of a service, but midway through the service, if you've got this handy and you want to go ahead into the deeper areas that are harder to reach where they tend to nest, particularly in the air intake plenum, in the V channel of a water-cooled, like a V8 or V6 engine, very common. The large diesels, obviously, in the crevices of that. So you can go ahead and do that during your service. But in this case, we're all done with the service, and this is really the best time to do this. Go ahead, spray this all down. It's back in the auto position. Green light's on, green for go. And you're now protected with a very, very good, very effective water repellent. And as it turns out, a perfume that keeps the rodents out. For more information about the products that you saw here today, you can go to www.ProFleetCare.com. You can also download the SDS sheets that are required to be kept on board.